There are a lot of romance writing rules that sound smart and get repeated constantly, but low-key are making your story worse. I break them constantly, on purpose. Hi, I'm Jessica. I read and write romance, and today I want to talk to you about some romance writing rules that I actively ignore because storytelling is not a linear path, and I think that each story needs what it needs, so you have to give it to it. Show versus tell is one of those rules, and let me tell you why. It's one of the most misunderstood pieces of advice, and the problem isn't the rule, it's the execution, because the thing is, showing and telling are tools. They are not good and bad, they're just tools. Showing uses description and action to let the reader experience the story. So what happens is that it deepens the immersion, it gives the reader room to interpret what's happening, while telling is summarizing the action. You use exposition or you use direct statements to let the reader know what's happening, and that matters because it makes the pace go faster, and pacing matters. So John was sad to see his girlfriend leave, that's telling. But that's not necessarily bad writing by default. It's just fast writing. While you say John wiped his tears as he watched his girlfriend get on the plane, that slows the moment, that asks the reader to, sit on it and really get into John's POV, and neither of those is wrong. The question is what you need the scene to do. Show versus tell becomes particularly harmful when writers are told that any direct statement of emotion is lazy, and it's not, especially in romance, because romance lives in the balance between showing and telling. If you show too much, then the story drags. If you tell too much, then the story feels flat. For example, the internal narrative of a character, you don't need to decode every single emotional beat. So sometimes it's better to tell than show, especially because in these pivotal moments of your story, you probably need more clarity rather than subtlety. If you're telling because it serves the clarity, it serves the emotional logic of your story, it serves the pacing, then great. If you're telling because you don't know how else to work that scene out, then that's when it becomes a problem. The important thing is that you recognize when to show and when to tell, find the balance, and know when to use each one, because that's where the story pacing lives. The second rule is let the readers figure it out, because this assumes that your readers want to do detective work when they're reading your story, and they don't. Especially in romance, they don't want to figure out the subtleties of the romance arc. They want to feel it. And if the reader misunderstands the emotional stakes, then that's not subtle writing. That is breaching communication between you and your reader. So figure it out. You are the one that needs to figure it out. Romance is a contract, and confusion breaks trust. The other rule that I don't care for is characters should be relatable. I don't write characters to be relatable. I write characters to be specific. I write characters that live in the world that I'm building. And when writers chase relatability, they make their characters softer probably than what they should be. Think of the people that you know. Think if they were living in a novel, in a romance novel. What do they look like there? Are they sanded down versions of themselves, or are they people that could really live in the world? Because if the characters feel like softened versions of themselves, then you get characters that are fine, they're fine, but they are forgettable, and you want people to remember your characters and remember your story. I guess that's what you want. The people that are reading your story are not reading it necessarily because it's relatable. They are reading it because it's the characters that they need in that moment. So give them the full version, not the PG-13 one. Unless, of course, your book is PG-13. The next rule. Follow the market. Babe, don't do this to yourself. Don't. Please don't. Because trends change faster than you can draft a novel. And if you write it chasing what is popular instead of what you really want to explore, then you're going to be left behind and you're going to be miserable in the process. So don't do this to yourself. Write the story that you want to write, and choose intentionally, maybe, if you really, really want to dig into that. Because the thing is, someone out there needs the story that you want to tell. So write it. Make yourself happy, make that reader happy. Your job is to make your story work, not to make it safe for the market. I'd love to know which of these rules or any other rule that you know of do you actively ignore when you're writing your story? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more bookish comments, more writing chaos, and maybe book recs, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!